A homeless man asks for $1, but what Melania Trump does next will leave you speechless. Once a proud carpenter, Roy's life had been shattered by an accident that left him unable to work and reliant on the streets for survival. He had a family once, his wife, Sarah, and their young daughter, Lily. But after the accident, the bills piled up, his savings dwindled, and eventually he found himself alone on the streets of Dallas, struggling just to make it through each day. For 3 years, Roy had begged for change on the cold, unforgiving streets. He sat with a weathered cup in his hands, hoping someone might drop in a dollar, a coin, anything to get him through another night. But on this particular evening, things were about to change. As Roy sat there on the corner of Main and Harwood, his eyes scanned the crowd. People rushed by, their faces blurred by their hurried steps. No one stopped. No one noticed. But then a tall woman appeared. She was elegant, her silhouette standing out in the crowd. Her movement was deliberate, her stride purposeful, and though her face was hidden behind large sunglasses, there was something about her that drew Roy's attention. He barely had the strength to ask, but he did anyway. "Excuse me, ma'am, can you spare $1?" The woman paused, her head turning toward him. She looked down at him, and for a moment, Roy thought he had imagined it. Then, without hesitation, she crouched down in front of him. "What's your name?" she asked, her voice soft yet commanding. "Roy," he mumbled, unsure why she was even asking. She smiled gently. "Roy, I can do better than $1. What's your story?" Roy hesitated, his mind racing. What did she mean? Why was she asking him about his life? People usually just dropped their change in his cup and moved on. But there was something in her eyes, something real that made him want to answer. "I used to be a carpenter," he said, his voice rough. "Had a wife, a daughter. But after the accident, I lost everything, the bills, the hospital costs. I couldn't keep up. My wife left. My daughter. I haven't seen her in years." The woman's expression softened. She listened quietly, her gaze never wavering. When Roy stopped speaking, she didn't immediately respond. She just took a deep breath, as if processing what he had said. Then, with a calmness that made Roy feel seen, she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a crisp dollar bill. But she didn't hand it to him. Instead, she held it in her hand, looking at him for a moment. "I'm going to give you more than this," she said quietly. "But first, I want you to promise me something." Roy's eyes widened. "More? But why?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she began writing on a checkbook that she had pulled from her bag. Roy stared in disbelief as she filled in the details with careful precision. "I promise you, Roy," she said, her voice steady, "I'm going to give you a chance to rebuild your life." Roy swallowed, his throat tight. "A chance? How?" She finished writing, then tore the check from the book. "This is for $10,000. You'll use it to find housing, get back on your feet. I'll also connect you with someone who can help you find work." Roy's hand trembled as he reached for the check, his mind struggling to process the enormity of what she was offering. He had never seen so much money in his life. "Are you sure?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She smiled again, her eyes reflecting a mixture of compassion and determination. "Yes, you've been given a second chance. Now it's up to you what you do with it." Just then, a voice from the crowd cut through the moment, sneering and mocking. "Is this some kind of stunt? Melania Trump handing out checks to homeless people?" Roy's heart sank. He had heard the name, Melania Trump, but the words felt distant, like they belonged to someone else, someone far removed from the woman standing in front of him. A man stepped forward, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. "You're just doing this for publicity, aren't you?" the man scoffed, shaking his head. Melania didn't flinch. She simply stood tall, unshaken by the jeering. "If offering help is a stunt, then call it whatever you like," she said, her voice unwavering. "But I'm here because Roy deserves a chance. And you should ask yourself, what have you done for someone today?" The crowd was quiet for a moment, the man stumbling over his words before muttering something under his breath and walking away. The murmur slowly faded as people turned back to their own lives, but Roy remained in shock. Melania turned back to him, her eyes softening. "This isn't about me, Roy," she said gently. "It's about you. About giving you the opportunity to start over. Roy nodded slowly, still unable to fully grasp what had just happened. As Melania handed him the check, she smiled warmly. I'll be in touch, she added. Remember, this is your moment. Don't waste it. The aftermath. The story spread quickly, capturing the attention of the media and social media alike. Some praised Melania for her unexpected generosity, while others accused her of staging the encounter for publicity. But for Roy, the attention was overwhelming. He had never sought fame, and now cameras were pointed at him from all sides. With the help of a social worker named Maria, whom Melania had connected him with, Roy found a small apartment in Arlington and started working at a local construction company. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He began rebuilding his life, one small step at a time. A few months later, as Roy was leaving work, he saw Melania standing nearby, as calm and composed as ever. She smiled warmly at him. How are you doing, Roy? She asked. I'm I'm doing well, he replied, his voice filled with a mix of gratitude and disbelief. Better than I was. Melania nodded. I'm proud of you. You took the chance. And now look at you. Roy looked down, a shy smile tugging at his lips. I don't know how to thank you. You gave me something I never thought I'd have again. Hope. Don't thank me, she said with a smile. Thank yourself. You're the one who made it happen. And with that, she turned to leave, but before she walked away, she glanced back over her shoulder. Remember, Roy, you're never too far gone to start again. Roy watched her walk away, the weight of her words settling in his heart. He knew that his story wasn't over yet. It was just beginning. And so, Roy's story stands as a testament to the transformative power of kindness. What started as a simple request for $1 turned into a life-altering moment of hope and change. It reminds us that compassion, no matter how unexpected, can ripple outward, creating opportunities and inspiring others to believe in second chances. If this story moved you, remember that even the smallest acts of generosity can have profound impacts. Never underestimate the difference you can make in someone's life. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more tales of resilience and humanity, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Let's keep the spirit of kindness alive, one story at a time.